You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
Welcome back to Guitar Talk. I'm Dave.
And I am John.
And together, we are the ambiguously gay duo.
I didn't think it was that ambiguous.
Oh, yes. So we talked, I think last week you mentioned that Fender was doing the heavy metal Strat.
Yes.
Did you realize the heavy metal Strat was a 25.1 scale?
I did not.
Yeah.
That changes my whole perspective on their usage of the Fender Floyd Rose Special. Oh,
And the 24 frets. Well, you know what's funny is you know what came on the original?
no.
A Kaler Floyd,
Ooh,
like a Kaler knockoff Floyd.
like a Kaler Spider.
I don't know what it's called. Is that what it's called? I have no idea what it's called.
I think it was. Well, so we have more to say about this guitar?
Well, I just thought it was interesting because I watched a couple of videos of the original, and then I was like, and someone was like, just going over all the specs, and then I went to the newer one, and I'm like, oh, they brought those specs back. I think it's an odd guitar. It's weird that they chose the small scale length. I also think that what's the guitar that Vivian Campbell played? The Night Swan or something from Kramer. Wasn't it? And that had a short scale.
Sounds right. Okay.
That had a short scale. I don't
know the
understand.
guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, I just thought that was interesting that the heavy metal Strat, which, whatever.
I think people should rush out and buy it. It's
okay.
gonna make them better players.
All right, I'll see. I'll go get it. Right, it's gonna make you great. Yeah. You know what's funny is
if you had a hard time playing heavy metal on any of your other humbucker guitars, this one will, it's in the name. This one will play heavy metal. So
right.
Good for you. You'll be able to do it finally. You know what I like? I like when people come out and ask questions on forums like, hey, I have a Telecaster. Will I be able to play country music on it? Or, hey, I've got a Les Paul. Will I be able to play heavy metal on it? Or I have, I have this amp. Can I get the Eddie Van Halen sound? Like, everybody's chasing something, and they think it's a gear problem. And they always think it's a gear problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. It's funny because Eddie on the first album played the Ibanez Destroyer that he sawed in pieces, and he played the Les Paul, and then he played his Super Strat. I can't hear the difference of either one. Couldn't tell you any of them. So a guy on Marketplace yesterday posted a road-worn Telly.
Mm-hmm.
Butterscotch. The thing looked nice. I was like, ooh, everything about that one looks good. It's totally something I would get and sell the neck on Craigslist and get a new 1-inch, big fucking baseball bat neck. That guitar would be awesome.
Yeah, but what would be the point? I guess because the finish is what you're saying. You like the way it looked.
It looked like it was a good job of a 52, like a no-caster, a 51 no-caster. And I thought, I could get one of those big U-necks from Warmouth, stainless frets, flatter radius, put the Fender logo on it without the Telecaster. It would look like a no-caster.
Did you say you were a eunuch?
Exactly.
Terrible. Oh, that's a terrible joke.
Yes. So,
I am.
But it would have been a nice guitar. I thought, that would be interesting. And then I thought to myself, and then I would sell it because I have no idea why I would even want it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Then the guy reached back out to me and he says, oh, some guy's playing it right now. If he doesn't buy it, I'll get back to you. Well, he didn't get back to me, so I assume the guy bought it.
Dude, I have an amp at home right now that you should get.
Steve Warren or Dave Levine?
Ooh, no, I have a Tone King Imperial at home right now.
Oh, you do? You got it. Wait,
yeah.
the new one that's going to be coming out?
Huh?
Didn't you say there was a new one? Oh, no, there's a new Tone King amp, not an Imperial.
Oh, right. No, the thing I'm talking about, I didn't give you any more information on. It's gonna be crazy good, but it's not gonna be for another year.
Right.
No, I have one at home right now for my sample piece. I'm gonna show some dealers in Southern California, but I gotta be honest, I want to buy it real bad.
Really?
Real bad. Yeah,
What's
nice.
the sound? It's that clean, huh? It's that
freaking great, man. It's so they describe it as being originally designed to kind of play both parts of both blackface and tweed kind of smushed together into one sound. So you got these big bass tones and you've got a little bit of a scoop going on, but at the same time, like there's a grovelly bite to the top end. It's not super duper clean. And it just sounds like it's got so much character.
Yeah.
So you listen
Greg
to
Koch
it.
plays it. It sounds awesome.
God, man. Yeah, so I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it sounds great. It's fun to play. It's got a built-in attenuator, so you can like drive it and get a little bit of tube saturation going and then, dial it back. It's nice. And then the tremolo you'd like. It gets going. It gets going real fast if you want it to.
A real slow if I want.
Yeah.
I love the real daunting slow tremolo. Life's the same. I'm moving in stereo.
It's it's as the Canadians would say, it's a beauty, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gotta say I'm loving it right now. It really makes me want the Stefan Warren guitar.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? Those two together? Forget about it.
Yeah, I know, but it's like Daddy doesn't have $2,500 to drop on a Gretsch right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But what about on that amp?
Well, I don't have to worry about it for a while.
Oh, okay, very good.
I can play it till I'm bored with it. Say, it wasn't really for me.
No, that's a great amp is so nice. You know what's funny? I went to an open jam last night. There was an event going on to raise money for this guy who broke his leg or had some leg surgery. I don't know. He was in a cast in a wheelchair. So I went because my buddy Jerry was running the thing and he was the guitar player in the band. And Jerry plays a Strat that he made himself. He loves like the necks we like. These big, he calls it, he's the guy that came up with the term, the gentleman's cut. He likes the gentleman's cut of necks.
He likes the gentleman's clubs.
Yeah, he likes to feel a big, so his neck is big and fat and beefy. The guitar tone, I've played that guitar through my amp, sounds great because he used to come down to this open jam I played. So he was playing his amp last night, which is a Marshall. Now it's a Canadian Marshall. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's, Marshall makes them for the States and they make them for Canada. Well, the ones they make for Canada doesn't have the light is not in the switch, the on-off switch, that orange light. Yeah. It's a separate dome light and a regular flick-up switch, like a regular dip switch.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and it's a JCM 800, like a 4010, which is like a 2203, it's a great amp. His tone, so I go there last night. Never have I seen a guy play a Strat and a Marshall, and the tone was so dark and awful. I was like, the sound he was playing is so bad, so dark, no top end. So then the band starts playing and you can't hear him at all.
Right, sure.
He keeps stepping back to stand in front of his amp because obviously the amp is screaming, but he can only hear it when he's standing in front of it. My buddy says, hey, how come he keeps walking back to his amp? I said, because his EQ is so bad. When he walks forward, he can't hear his own amp anymore. So he was like, really? I said, listen, how the crunch sounds, just everything about that tone is awful. Anyways, he messages me today, thanks me for coming out, and it was good to see me and wants to get together. And I said, yeah, we got to get together and talk about your tone. It's awful. And he's like, oh, I thought it was, he starts telling me about it. I'm like, no. He's like, I just couldn't. He goes, it was so loud, but I couldn't hear myself. I'm like, hello, you're EQ'd right in the bottom low. It was so bad. And it's just like,
he's probably EQing himself for what sounds good to him when he's playing in his bedroom alone.
That's exactly right. And that's why I brought this up, because people think, and people think when they sit and play guitar in their room, they're like, I like this big, rich tone. And then they go to play in a band, and I go see them, and I'm like, what the hell is that? That sounds awful. People, when they play my rig, they're always like, isn't that bright? I'm like, yeah, a little bit, but not when the band. As soon as the band comes in and I'm playing, the people come up and they're like, that sounds just like the record. I'm like, I'm in the mix. I mean, I understand how the mix works.
Yeah, it's really important, folks. Really important. I mean, Steve
And-
Travato came in and played this Tone King Imperial before, and Steve was sitting there saying, Samp is really bright, but I can see, and he specifically said, but I can see how this is going to cut. He goes, I definitely need one of these. And then, he decided to pick one up because he's like, I need one of these in my mix. It's going to help me cut big time. So
Yeah. Yeah, you want to get on top of that, and it's just where it sits. The other guy had a bright sounding amp when they were warming up in the beginning. And once the band started playing and that guy started playing a lead, I was like, oh my God, it sat in there like a record. It sounded gorgeous. You wouldn't think of it as bright. You would just say, that sounds good.
Well, think
And
about, I mean, for folks out there listening, think about a band and what wavelengths are being dominated by what instrument.
If you go on YouTube and you go to isolated guitar tracks, you will be surprised how thinned out the guitar sounds when you take the band out. If you go, even the bass, I mean, everything kind of it's thinned out and very specific to a tighter EQ range than what you think. It's not this big lush, it's more thinned out than you think because it has to sit somewhere in the mix.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jerry, it's like when you see a recipe and there's sugar in the recipe, but it's not a sweet dish, it's a savory dish. But that sugar is there to cut something else. You know what I mean? It's basically like what a mix does. You put something in there. So it's like if a bass is covering the mid-range and the vocal and the keyboard is taking the mid-range and your guitar's in the mid-range, you're not going to be heard. You're all fighting for frequency.
Right. That's an absolutely dynamite point for anybody out there who's trying to play in bands.
Yeah. And it's also the problem why most amateur bands have a fight for volume.
Mm-hmm.
Because people can't hear themselves and they're like, well, I must not be loud enough. As opposed to, I can't hear myself because this asshole over here is all over my frequency and I'm on that guy's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, if you EQ a band right and you spend a little bit of time on figuring out that balance, you can bring your volume down and have a real nice sound.
Sure. What did I do last night? Finished playing a game of golf, and then went to Paquito Mas again.
Ooh, again with the Paquito Mas, not Gilbert's.
No, Gilbert's is far away. But we did the Mas, and I gotta say, I did try RL's simmered chicken burrito, which is his choice.
Yeah, that's what
he's not a red meat eater.
Right.
You are, though, are you not?
I like red meat, but the simmered chicken burritos, I think, is the best thing up there.
I think Gilbert's is better.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think I would. I wouldn't even have to think about it.
Wow.
There was in fact some stuff about the Paquito Mas simmered chicken burrito that I didn't particularly like.
Such as?
It was soggy.
It can be sometimes, not often.
He, his order was to remove the pico de gallo and to add rice. So it's like, it's like you're taking away one thing and you're adding an agent that's going to sop up something else. It's like you're building it around the fact that it's going to be soggy. It shouldn't be soggy from the kitchen, if you ask me.
I order mine simmered chicken burrito, guac on the side, no cheese.
No cheese. Okay.
But I like the pico de gallo. That makes the dish.
Yeah. I think Gilberto's is a little better. I don't know if it's Gilberto's or Gilbert's, but it's, here's where they lose me. This is for all you restaurant owners who listen to our show. You got to stop doing the cash only business. I get what you're doing. Uncle Sam's on to you. They know what you're doing too. It just you're losing customers in
Oh,
favor of
Gilbert's does that because the town spa does that. I think
Yeah.
the reason has a lot to do with also the being dinged 4%.
Yeah, it has to do with that, and it has to do with their taxes, and they
Yeah,
they wanna they're gonna skate a little bit. I know how it goes, but dude, if you've got the opportunity to get every single customer, because every single customer has a debit card in their wallet.
sure.
Not every customer carries cash, especially in LA where every single place that you go, there's a homeless person begging you for money. Sometimes you just stop carrying cash. You know, me and my wife haven't carried cash around this city in years. So, hence we don't really go to Gilbert's. The only time I'll go to Gilbert's is when I'm over there and I find myself with a 20 in my wallet, which is just not that often. But it is a better product. So, and now you're listening to Restaurateurs with Dave and John.
I think the bus staff. No, I'm joking.
God. You know what I did tonight that I don't ever do because I did have cash on me? I tipped in cash tonight. I think they appreciate when you tip in cash.
I think it's the same either way. At the end of the night, they get their cash.
Is it?
Yeah, the drawer balances out. They always, whatever, it just goes to the drawer. So this week, I stumbled upon a pedal that I'm kind of interested in.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about guitar stuff?
Yes.
Oh, folks, you're listening to Guitar Talk.
There's a pedal called, by Source Audio, the Collider. Are you familiar?
Mm-mm.
It is a delay and reverb combination pedal that works as two sides.
Mm.
You can change the sides. You can make two delays. You can make them two reverbs.
Yes, anything you'd like to keep cool.
Yes, Tommy. It is, it has two things. It's delay and reverb, Bert and Lonnie.
That's a stretch. Oh, great.
Right.
Source Audio Collider.
The Collider. You want to take a look?
No, I trust you.
Very nice pedal. You can program it so it has 4 presets
Okay.
of both sides. So when you go to a preset, both side does whatever you have preset them to be. I think this is like they're onto something with this.
Is it a game changer?
Oh, have you seen that ad they constantly play on where the guy's like, this is a real game changer. This thing has changed my life. It's Anderton's and the guy puts the little amp box on the back of the guitar. It's like, dude, if that thing changed your life, like your life sucked.
That's funny. The funny thing about advertising in this industry, we bitch and complain about how modeling companies do that. I'm starting to notice that's the same way it works in the sporting goods community. Like you see the golf ads and stuff.
Yeah.
Every single time they release a new club, they're like, "This is a game changer. You've never experienced distance and accuracy like this."
Right. It has nothing to do with the player. Totally. They always do that. Also with the balls. You know those, what are the balls? They're like neon, but they're not glossy. They're like matte finish. Begins with a V. Oh, my buddy's got cases of them.
Oh, I don't know a lot about this stuff yet. Don't get me wrong here. I'm kind of diving in, but I'm not all the way in yet.
Yeah.
But returning to Source Audio.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Game Changer Audio? Speaking of the Game Changer.
No.
They make these like plasma pedals. You'll have to look those up.
Sounds like a game changer.
Sounds like a gimmick.
Yeah, what do you mean? What are they? Oh, wait, what are they called?
Game Changer
Plasma?
Audio. I don't know. They have these little screens on the pedals that look like plasma, and as you hit a note, it's showing you waveforms and different looking things on this little screen as you're passing signal through it onto your amp.
Yeah.
It seems like a gimmick.
Yeah, it doesn't seem not interesting to me.
Yeah. We need to invent a new product. We haven't had a new product in a while.
What are you thinking?
We had, well, I mean, we had Tube Fresh, which was
Yes,
a revelation, if you ask me.
of course.
And we've had Tone Plastic.
Yes,
which
the
is,
tone plastic really helps your guitar, your Strats, your Tellys.
yeah, we need something. I don't know what it is though. I'm
Yeah,
curious to hear ideas from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah, it's interesting what's out there. I was out, like I said, I was out last night. This guy came up to me and he's like talking to me. He's like, "What pedal do you like right now?" I started telling him about the Duelist, and I'm like, I'm trying to minimize my rig, and I like the fact because right now I'm using a DL4, but it's big. So the Super Collider would be the Super Collider. The Collider would be great.
Super Collider was a terrible Megadeth record.
Yeah. But the Collider would be great because it would be right at the end of it, and it's only the size of like a Strymon pedal.
Okay.
And then if somebody made like a Chorus Flanger phaser pedal of that ilk, that size, I would love it. My board would be tiny. I could really
get a Terraform.
Who's that?
Wampler.
What does it do?
All modulation.
And can I call them up?
Yeah.
Like, do you have his number? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. No, you can store 8 different presets in it.
I can. And can I use more than one, or is it only use one?
No, it's a singular.
Okay.
You want it to do 2 at once?
No, I don't think I need Chorus Flanger and phaser at the same time ever. I don't think I ever need all 3.
No, you probably one at a time. But yeah, that's what that does.
Why doesn't TC Electronic? You have the Helix, you have the Vortex.
They just released something this week.
And in a Chorus? What was the Chorus called? The Corona Chorus, right. Or
the small one was the Corona Chorus? Yeah,
the Coronavirus Chorus.
Terrible.
It's rotten. What was the big one called?
Big Chorus?
Yeah, like the regular size pedal Chorus.
Is that the one that had the cord hanging off the side of it?
No. It's just a regular Chorus. Like it was the size. It was like the
Corona,
Helix.
The Corona one was their full size one.
Oh, okay, yeah. So those 3, how come they can't? I mean, it's like those 3 do 50 million things. Why not just put all 3 in one pedal and cut them down to?
Well, good. I need a coffee. Sorry, everybody. I'm making everybody yawn on their way to work, as if this show wasn't boring enough to begin with.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you're making pedals and everyone's trying to be like, "Ooh, we're the new big thing."
Well, they just released a pedal, and I don't have the name of it. I should look it up. Okay, so they just released a pedal called Plethora X5.
Okay.
TC Electronic Plethora X5. It's... Boy, their website.
It's big.
Yeah, so they just released this thing. It's got compressor, vibrato, reverb, delay. It's got like all of the tone print pedals inside of it.
Oh, it's got a harmony.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of shit.
Oh, I see. You assign it kind of like the
a little bit like the Line 6 M13.
Right.
It's gonna be $399. It looks like on the street, and yeah. So that might be an option. I don't know.
I see. It's got a flashback chorus. Yeah, no, I think I'm looking for something that's not so. I want to be able to use pedals that I use.
Sure. Well,
and this one has too much. This one has like, I don't need their delay. I already have one of their delays. I was thinking more like, if I got that Source Audio as my delay, then all I need is a multi-pedal that can do the chorus and get rid of my DM4.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, maybe take a look at the Wampler Terraform. It's capable of doing everything that you want it to do. It's pretty flexible. It has, I think, 11 different algorithms in it. So
Yeah.
I got flanger, chorus, harmonized chorus. It's got
Phase.
phasers, univibes, rotary,
Nice.
bunch of stuff.
How's
Anything
the
you'd like to
Univibe
keep
sound?
good.
Because I like the Univibe I have. I have the full tone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what I want to do.
I'm the same way. You know what? I have. Speaking of plethora, I have a plethora of pedals that I'm not using right now. I've got a drawer full of them, and I kind of forgot about it. Out in my living room, my coffee table, I have a drawer facing outside of the couch. Like each side of the coffee table has a pull drawer on it. And
Yeah.
the one facing away from the couch never gets touched because, if you're in the couch, why would you ever pull that one? It's got just a shitload of drive pedals in it. I opened it today. I got like 6 drive pedals in there. I'm like, oh, I forgot about these.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm trying to think of what I could do, but it's like, do I want to deal with it? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, with this Tone King over here, what I'd kind of like to do would be set up a really simple board. Like the dumbest, simplest board I could. Just
Like a
take
duelist.
just take the foot switch that it comes with because it's got 2 channels and it's got that
Oh, it's a
tremolo on it.
2-channel.
Yeah, there's a lead and a rhythm channel on it. The lead channel, it's not like super dirty. It's not martially.
Right.
It's kind of just more like full-blown tweed. So, I'd like to be able to just take that foot switch, a tuner, an overdrive, and a delay, and that's it. And just be done with it. Just
And
take that
right
out.
there. Wait, does it have built-in reverb?
Yeah. Great reverb. Spring. Long spring.
I know.
amp.
Yeah.
It's a killer amp.
Now, does it have an effects loop or no?
No.
Yeah, these guys that make good amps don't like putting them in, huh?
Yeah. For some reason, I think
Sons of bitches.
I think it's an old thing. I think it's that years ago, nobody had really developed a really good loop yet. Because I noticed that, like the Tone King Imperial, this design is from the early 90s. Mark Bartel designed it in the early 90s. Joe Morgan is not a fan of loops. You'll never find a loop on one of his amps.
Right.
But then you look at a guy like George Metropolis or Dave Friedman, and they use them on all their amps.
Yeah.
And, to seemingly no ill effect. I don't think there's a problem with a good clean effects loop. I don't know why some of these guys really frown
Yeah, I
on it.
like a loop.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of the guys like have an on-off switch for their loop. Like the Friedman, I can take the effects loop completely out of the circuit. I can't tell the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I bet there's a lot of guys out there right now go, "Oh, you mean you can't tell the difference?"
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like a loop. I like to hear the delays and the filters behind shit.
Mm-hmm.
I like it in the loop. I don't really like it in the face of the amp. But that's just me.
Let me ask you
know?
something. How's Emily getting along with the beard? It's looking.
Oh, she likes it.
It's looking mighty.
I don't.
You're doing
It
a good
is?
job. Oh yeah.
I don't really care for it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have it, but I do like to go. I do like doing this with it and going.
Yeah.
The contemplative.
You look sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm a sophisticate.
Do your best Sean Connery impression.
Oh, I missed a great joke earlier today because I was interviewing someone, and when I said what time was load-in for the gig, and the kid said 10ish, and I was ready to go. Sean Connery has 10ish elbow.
That's awful. That's not a good joke. Tennis.
I love a good game of tennis.
Indy.
Uh,
I named the dog Indiana. Sorry.
George. Sean, the category is S words. It began with a bleeding S. Classic.
That's one of the greatest bits ever.
Oh, it's awesome.
You drink from one of these. What is a leather glove? Like what?
It's excellent stuff.
Who was that? Was it Daryl Hammond?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah. Sean Connery, yeah.
Norm Macdonald as
Burt Reynolds chewing the gum.
dude.
Oh, he's great.
Incredible stuff. Anyway, folks.
What's going on with your band? I play a gig next Saturday.
Oh, the band? April 11th, I think, is our next one. We don't have a lot going on right now.
You got a while. I get gigs every weekend.
I told Gary over at Elvis Simmons that I'd do a couple fill-ins for him, so I'm going to be doing, I think, March 28th with him, and possibly one sooner than that.
Very nice.
Oh, let me tell you a song that I don't like.
Okay.
They're doing a souped up Elvis Kiss version of Holiday Road from Lindsey Buckingham.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Oh,
with the horns,
Road.
with the horns and stuff, it sounds good. But you just listen to that studio track, that song sucks.
I enjoy it. Reminds me of Vacation. You know what I do like by him? I think I'm in trouble. Bum ba bum bum bum. Oh, I think I'm in trouble.
I don't think I know that tune.
Oh, it's a great one. Trouble by Lindsey Buckingham.
He's
a great player. Underrated.
Yeah, I know he can play. I just...
Oh, he's great.
I don't know if he can sing.
Oh, he's a great singer. Yeah, but you have to understand that's the second half. Look at him and look at he's singing in Never Going Back Again, Monday Morning, Secondhand News. All those songs are great.
All right, I'll give them a listen. How do you feel about Neil Young?
Hate him.
I had a thought about Neil Young today, and moreover, I had a thought today about Rolling Stone magazine and people of that ilk.
Yes, horrible.
So all through the 70s and 80s and everything, Rush was like a whipping boy for, the cool intellectual musician types that ran Rolling Stone magazine.
Sure.
They'd all say, terrible things. And yet they love Neil Young. One of the big criticisms of Rush is that Geddy Lee is awful. He sounds like I think the phrasing was Mickey Mouse with a rocket stuck up his ass or something like that,
Right. Sure.
Neil Young sounds like an elephant that just sucked on a helium balloon. So why does he get a pass and Geddy gets shit all over?
Because Geddy's an excellent musician, and these guys champion the lazy shitbags.
I like your explanation. I'll take that.
Yeah. Neil Young's horrible. The songs sound like he's sitting there going through every chord in his Mel Bay book, and he's just singing along. It's like, oh, this is terrible. There's no melody. I think he stinks. His whole career, I think I can name 2 songs that I can tolerate. But I personally think he's a complete shitbag.
Okay.
And that's me being nice.
All right, Rolling Stone, we're coming for you.
Rolling Stone magazine's a fucking joke. I mean, the magazine itself is just ridiculous. They've never said a nice thing about Led Zeppelin.
Really?
Oh, my God. The magazine is a fucking joke. But when Elvis Costello came out, and I like Elvis, they would suck his cock 2 at a time. Oh, we love him. We love him. Thank you.
Interesting. I wonder why. I don't think I've ever heard anybody really shit on Zeppelin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they didn't like him. The magazine, it's a very pretentious piece of shit. They seem to pay a lot of attention to stuff that's mediocre. Mm-hmm. And anything that's fantastic, they poo-poo. It's like the same in everything with the in Hollywood, but it's like, they got the Clash. The Clash London Calling is one of the greatest albums of all time. Yeah, it's the second best album of all time. Every other album tied for first. The fucking record is not that good. You know what I mean? They constantly champion garbage. I'm sick of them. I hate that magazine.
Okay, so I struck a nerve there.
I just hate them. I think a lot of magazines, they pander to a certain type. Remember Cream Magazine? Cream Magazine was up Kiss's ass. I mean, Peter Criss voted again. The greatest drummer of the year. Second, John Bonham. Yeah, Peter Criss is better than Bonham. Cream Magazine.
Right. Yeah, are any of those rags still around? I know Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone, I think, is.
I wonder if anything like the Kerrang or any of that's still around.
I don't know. So last night was the end of like Boston's, well, technically Worcester, but Boston's only heavy metal channel since the dawn of time. WAAF is now no longer. They sold it to some Christian channel. And now they're playing songs like The Body of Christ. Sleek swimmer's body, all muscled up and toned. The body of Christ. Oh, how I wish I had that of my own. Oh, my God. You got me so enticed. How I wish I had the body of Christ. The body of Christ.
Body of Christ. If they actually played that, it would be worthwhile.
Ah, are you kidding? Faith Plus One. That's one of my favorite albums.
Dude. Faith Plus One. What a genius concept.
Yeah.
Tell you, those guys. When those guys are finally off the air, that's going to be a sad, sad day.
I love, like I said, I love this season's when he had Integrity Farms.
And am I to understand correctly? I haven't seen any yet, but that he's now just selling cocaine.
Yes. Well, that was the Christmas one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's a great show. It's great. It's really good.
And
so yeah,
RL told me that Matt Stone is selling his house.
Yeah, that's what he says. I guess he's got it up on the market there. Yeah. RL living kind of across the street, diagonal.
How crazy is that? He's living across the street from the guy who's the founder of South Park.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Pretty funny.
And you'd never know it. For any of you folks who do not live in Los Angeles, which is probably most of you, this place is a dump. I bet Matt Stone's house is probably going to sell for $4 million. Mm-hmm. And I bet the equivalent house in a suburb outside of Chicago or Atlanta would sell for $280.
No, but it would probably sell for under $1 million. I'll give you that.
I don't know, man. I see the houses on that block. They're not, it's nothing to...
Well, he's got a big one. He's got one of the, I think he's got maybe two properties there, and he's got that big house. You know who lived across the street from him before he passed away was Richard Libertini.
I don't know who that is.
Frank from Fletch. Fletch. I got nervous.
I'll have to watch Fletch again.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of love for Fletch. I've seen it once. It feels dated to me. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't around for when it came out. And it's like one of those movies that people talk about, like, oh, one of the greatest comedies of all time. And I've seen it like 2 or 3 times when I was younger, and it always felt like I missed it. It was dated to me.
So I'm sitting at the Hollywood. No, I'm at the bicycle casino, and I'm playing poker, and Riley sits next to me.
The bicycle casino in Bell Garden, California?
Yes. And Riley sits next to me, and he looks at me, and he's like this. That's Joe Don Baker. And I'm looking, I go, where? He goes, that guy right there. And then I look, and I realize Joe Don Baker has aged, and he's an old man. So I look at him, and he's like, now he looks at me because he realizes I'm looking at him. And I said to him, Fat Sam left the beach today. So did Gummy. That's when it occurred to me there's something happening around here that I have to become aware of. And he just, without making any expression, he just says, is that Fletch? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, I don't get it. I never found that movie funny.
I don't know who that guy is though.
He's Chief Carlin in Fletch. You know
In
Joe
Fletch?
Don
Oh,
Baker.
okay. I might.
Fat Sam left the beach today. So did Gummy. That's when it occurred to me there's something happening around here that I should become aware of.
Yeah, interesting that he didn't find it funny either.
Yeah, he hated it. And then I said to him, because of course I'm taking offense to the fact that he didn't like Fletch. So I'm like, what did you like, Mitchell? Mitchell's like this horrible Joe Don Baker detective movie. And he's like, they flew me out to Fiji for 30 days. I loved Mitchell.
Joe Don Baker. Let's see. Oh yeah. Of course I know this guy.
Yeah, he's excellent.
I didn't know he was in Fletch. All right. Yeah, this guy.
Look up Richard Libertini. You'll know him too, who used to live in the house directly across from RL.
Richard Libertini.
He was in The In-Laws.
He is only loosely familiar looking.
Fletch. I was nervous.
Who is this guy? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I know this guy terribly well.
He's a classic actor. He's also like on a ton of Law and Orders. He plays a lawyer like on every damn episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He passed away, I think, like 2 years
Wait.
ago. They sold his house.
All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing to say about Richard Libertini. I need to know more about. Who's this guy? Abe Vigoda.
Oh, I love Abe. Sal Tessio from The Godfather.
Yeah, I know that guy's face. Anyway, back to Guitar Talk. There's been very little in the news this week of Guitar Talk, if you ask me. But the one thing I'm hearing a lot of is that a lot of manufacturers are going to be slow to release their products this year because of the coronavirus.
And everything's being made in China.
And not just everything being made in China, but like small parts being sourced, like resistors and capacitors. Even American builders are subject to delays on that sort of stuff. So you're kind of screwed this year. This is going to hurt a lot of boutique builders. Yeah. And I'm not specifically talking about us. We actually have good inventory of parts. So I'm feeling good about that, but a lot of guys that don't have that are going to get hurt this year because not only is there the Chinese New Year, which is happening right now, but they've also shut down a lot of factories because they're quarantining so many people. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens out there.
Now, what's the mortality rate for coronavirus?
I'll have to go and check my independent study that I've done as a scientist and a doctor.
Well, I know, but they say there's like 200,000 people with it, and 4,000 died.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the flu? What's influenza? What's that percentage?
No idea. Yeah,
I don't either.
You know, I gotta say though, I haven't had the flu yet this year. I also
this year. Who the hell gets the flu every year?
I don't know.
You say it like you get it every year. Oh,
I feel like I get it often enough. Maybe not.
No way. I
didn't get it last year either because I can remember thinking like, am I going to get anthrax, and not having anything with it. And the same thing with this year. I haven't had any problems with it.
4 years ago, I went to the doctor. I'm like, I think I have the flu. He's like, you know how many people walk around and say they have the flu that have it, that don't have it? He's like, it's 1 in 6 months somebody comes in here with actually the flu. But then the guy tests me. He goes, you got the flu. I was like,
oh, that's hilarious.
But he was saying most people think they have the flu. They just have a bad cold. But I tested positive for influenza B. This is like 4 years ago. 2 weeks later, I had a gig. And I'm like, I'll do the gig. I still don't. You know what? It was at a pizzeria. and the smell of the pizza was the only thing that kept me going. I was like, that pizza does smell pretty good. It is. Otherwise, I would have been sick as a dog.
Oh, you had the flu for 2 weeks?
Oh, you get it longer than that. I probably had it for 3 because I didn't have. I had it for a week before I went to the doctor and was like, I'm bad. He was even like, had it, at least a week, and I was like, whatever.
All right. Take better care of yourself there, DL.
It was 4 years ago. I haven't had a cold since.
No excuses.
All right, John. So we expect some video this week. This is what Dave's Guitar Channel fans are going to want to see. They're going to want to say, John Bingham's channel better show him playing that Imperial.
All right.
They better see him in that Chevy Imperial.
I can probably pull that off this week.
Yeah.
I feel bad because it's hard to put together the time to do this stuff, but I'll give it a shot.
Well, now, how expensive an amp is this Tone King Imperial?
$2,500.
Map?
Yep.
Oh. And you'll tell me my price off camera. Thank you.
$23.99.
$24.99.
Yeah,
$26.99.
I think that it's $24.95 or something like that. But yeah, it's basically $2,500.
Wow.
It's a lot of coin, but it's it's a hand built American.
Yeah, it's not
American
terrible.
product.
What's the wattage?
It's 20 watts with a pair of 6 V6s.
Really?
It's probably 22 watts, depending on how it's biased, but advertised at 20 watts. However, it does not have a negative feedback loop. So it punches louder than the Fender version that would be 22 watts. Because,
right.
That
what about the
pulls.
Steve Warner?
What is the Steve Warner?
The SW22.
Oh, right. What about that amp?
Is it as punchy, do you think? What do you...
I think it's just as loud. But the SW22 feels a lot more like a blackface, like a pure blackface.
Yeah, and he has a negative feedback loop in there for sure.
Yeah, so it's way more like big bottom and super clear top end, a ton of headroom.
Right.
This one gets a little bit more rowdy.
Right.
I like it.
Look at you with a Friedman.
I know, I'm
the
feeling
the Dirte Charlie. What's the guitar that's in the case leaning up against the Friedman?
Nothing. There's nothing in it right now.
Is that a mono bag?
It is. So I got that bag years ago at West LA.
I'm sure, because I'm looking at it, I can see the tag, and I'm like, that's like a mono bag.
Yeah, they're great. It's 10 years.
Wow. Very nice. All right, John. Well, next week we'll have some more golf stories to tell, and
maybe not. It's hard to say.
All right. Well, let's get a recording of that amp, shall we? And I might get the Collider, so that might be something to talk about as well.
If you get the Collider and you run it through a spectrometer, could you call that a kaleidoscope?
I thought you were going to say, if I took that and put it into my Fender Super, will it become a bad Megadeth record?
Ooh. I gotta say though, the Super Reverb, if there was ever any reason to have that much volume, that's such a great amp.
Yeah.
I'd love
the
that.
Pro is good.
But
there's a lot of guys out here that
Super Reverb sounds so good.
The Pro Reverb is what, 212? There's a lot of guys on Craigslist selling those. I'd never seen that amp before, and now everyone out here has them. It's funny what's popular like on one coast to the next. You know what I mean?
Coast to coast AM.
Yeah, coast to coast. If you're calling east of the Rockies.
I thought that you were doing an Art Bell impression, and RL informed me that you were doing Phil Hendry making fun of Art Bell.
Yes,
I did
exactly. It's Hendry doing the impersonation of him.
That's funny.
But I like Art Bell and George Norrie. I mean, I've listened to this show because of Hendry.
Mhm.
But when I'm doing the "if you're calling east of the Rockies," I got that from listening to Phil Hendry.
That's funny.
Oh,
If it-
Phil's the best.
If it wasn't for Art Bell, I don't think that show would have ever succeeded the way it is with George Norrie. More like George Snorri.
There's another show on
He's
now.
okay. He's not great.
There's a weird show on like iHeartRadio. It's called Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Never heard of it.
Oh my God. This guy he's a mental patient. He is 100% a mental patient. You got to check it out. He's probably online somewhere, but I hear him on the radio, and it's such ridiculous crap.
Send me the guy's name after we're off.
Yeah.
I'll
send it to
write
you on Facebook.
All right.
All right, everybody. We are out of here. Very good.
All right, folks. See you next time.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.